So this lesson is going to be kind of continuation of the lesson that you guys did on Wednesday, sorry. And remember that activity where you have filled out some tables to see what relations you have, and then we came up with the formula where if I have an exponent and the exponent is a fraction, right? I can write it as a radical, right? If I want to write this as a radical, how would I write that? So if I want to write a to the power of m over n as a radical, how would I write
The
this?
square root.
No.
Inside.
Inside, sorry, and outside. Bracket, and outside.
That's right. So you do the square root or the nth root of the base to the power of n. Remember, I can write it like this, or I can also write it like okay? So that's exactly the same thing, and they all mean, so this is going to be the radical format, and this is the radical with the root, and then this is going to be the rational format, okay? Now, there's conditions for this to work, okay? You can't just use it without conditions. So m, which is your exponent right there, has to be an integer. When I say an integer, I mean it could be positive or negative, or zero, whole number. Okay? So it can be a decimal, right? It can be a fraction, m itself. So it can be positive, it can be negative, it can be zero, as long as it's a whole number. Now when it comes to n has to be a positive integer. So n has to be greater than 0. N cannot equal to 0, and it can't be negative. And the base A can't be negative if n is odd. That is even, sorry. So A has to be positive. And the reason for that is, can you take the square root of negative 5? I can't take the square root of a negative number, right? Can you take the fourth root of 16? Negative 16, sorry. No. I can't take an even root of a negative number. It will give you an invalid answer. So that's why A has to be positive if n is even. Okay? Now if n is odd, you can have the negative 16 of 3. That would give you an answer in the calculator. Okay? Because you can multiply, let's take 8 instead of 3, right? If I have negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, what do I get? Negative 8, right? So if I take the cube root of negative 8, I'm going to get negative 2. Right? Because negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, that is negative 8. Right? So it's okay to have a negative a value if the exponent is odd, but if the exponent is even, a has to be positive. Are we okay with that? Okay? So recap. The radical means there is a root, right? Radical is root which is like, for example, you can have cube root of 27, okay? So that is a radical form. If I want to put it in rational form, then my exponent is a fraction. How would I write that?
Say that again?
27 to the power of
1 over 3.
1 over. Okay, so this is the radical form, this is the rational form. Okay? Alright. So, rewrite each expression using rational exponents. So how would I write that using rational exponents?
25 over half.
25 to the power
of a half.
of a half. I want to see that it's a power, right? That's why I like to tie up. How about the second one?
-25.
No, 25 to 1.
Negative 125.
It's my
Negative 125.
Yeah.
1/3.
Oh,
Power
1/3.
1/3.
Now, it's very important to put it in brackets, right? Because the whole negative 125 is the power of 1/3.
Put it the other way. If you have it minus 125 and the 1/3 outside, what does that mean?
So, in the case of 1/3, it's not going to make a big difference. It's not going to make a difference. But in the case that this is a positive, it's going to make a big even, and it's going to make a big difference. So the difference right here, let me take a different number. Okay, let me take instead of 1/3, I want to take a half. Okay, I'm just going to give you another example so you see the difference. In this case, you're not going to see a difference. So if I have this. I can't do this because I can't do this. The difference is because it's under the bracket, it's under the root, it has to be in the bracket. If it was like this, right, then you would write it as negative 125 to the power of 1/3.
Okay.
Okay? Because the negative is outside that root. In this case, the negative is under the root, so it has to be in the bracket under the exponent. Okay?
I asked because we had a thing yesterday and I'm still not sure about it. So, n, for example, n is equal to 2x. Can you write that?
N equals 2x?
Yeah. For help me here. There was a power. There was so n is equal to 2.
She was saying like if there's a power like n 2x to the 3, right? She says that the power is for the whole
2.
The only way that the power is for the whole 2 if it's written like this. Right? In this case, then it's 2 to the power of 3, so that's 8x cubed. In this case, it's only 2x cubed.
So then the cube only go for the x.
If it's not in bracket, yes.
Right.
So if it's not in bracket, the cube only goes.
It was 2x and then squared, but you had to substitute another number for x.
So let's say if it was 2x squared like this,
Yeah.
and then x is equal to, let's say, 5,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So that's going to be 2 times 5 squared.
So okay.
So only the 5 that's going to be squared multiplied by 2.
Okay.
Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Oops. Okay, now, how would I write this one? The next one, which is the
So
4th root of 1.05 to the power of 3.
1.5 to the power of 3 over 4.
you can always, whatever's under the root, you can always put it in bracket. You don't have to, unless it's a negative, then you do have to. Okay? Okay. The next question is asking you to go from rational to radical. So I have 81 to the power of a half.
81 square root.
So the square root of 81. And that's asking you to evaluate. So what would be the square root of 81? It's asking you rewrite each expression in radical form and then evaluate. So it's equal to 9. So how would I write the next one?
Square root of negative
The
64.
cube root.
Cube root of negative 60.
Cube root of,
Where would I put the negative? Right
inside.
here?
Inside.
Mhm. And that's going to be what?
Negative 4.
4?
Negative 4.
Yeah. How would I write the next one?
The fifth root of
Fifth root.
32.
So the fifth
Open
root,
bracket, close bracket, 4 power.
You don't have to.
32.
To the power of 4.
Okay, I can put it here or
Or
I
you
can
can
put it
bracket.
on the outside, doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Okay? So I can write it like this or I can write it like this. It's exactly the same thing.
How
Okay.
do I fifth power on the calculator?
So the fifth power of 32, that should be 2. And then to the power of 4, that should be 16. So it can be 5, shift, 4, 5, shift, 4, So if you enter that in the calculator, it should give you 16. Make sure you enter it and check your answer. Make sure that you're getting 16. Because knowing how to use a calculator is very important. Okay? Yeah.
I'm not in mine.
Oh, because sometimes the calculator, this calculator could be that so try that again. Put 5. Okay, yeah, so your calculator is calculating something. Okay, well, you need to calculate. All right, so, are you guys okay? Can I have your attention here? You're not getting the right answer on the calculator?
Me either.
It's 15.6.8 something, right?
No, it's 16.
Wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, then I did it correct, yeah.
2 steps. Try 2
You
steps.
got it, yeah. Okay. No, because you're using a cube. So it should be, okay, it should be this one. 5, shift, and this one. Of 32. And to the power. So you have to use this one, not this one. Okay. Eric, you probably wanna either update it, and if you can't update it, then you have to download it. I find that this specific calculator for Samsung is not being very efficient because there's a lot of invalid operations. Okay, now, I want everyone's attention on the board. So I have, the next question is solve for the unknown variable x. So you have x to the power of 4 equals 16. The question is asking you, what value of x, when you put it to the power of 4, you get 16? How would you solve for that?
Isolate.
But what to the power of 4 gives you 16?
2.
And how did you know that?
Isolate.
How did you isolate?
Square root of
The
fourth root of x equal the fourth root of 16.
That's right. So you have to do opposite operation, right? And the opposite operation of the power of 4 is the fourth root, right? So the fourth root, if I do the fourth root of x to the power of 4, it cancels the power. So the root and the power, they cancel each other. That's why it's called opposite operation, so they cancel each other. And then when you do fourth root of 16 on your calculator, you should be getting 2. Okay, check that, make sure that this is what you're getting. So do the fourth root of 16. What? Error. All right. Now, all right. Now, I have x to the power of 3 over 2 equals to negative 27. How can I isolate for that? Would it be easier for you if you write it in rational format? Or radical, I mean? Would it be easier to write it in radical? Okay, let's write it in radical. How would I write this in radical?
The square root of x to the power.
To the power of 3, right? Okay. Now, there's two things that you need to get rid of. What are they?
The square root
And the negative.
and the power of 3.
That's right. So let's first get rid of the square root because then we'll get rid of it. What's the opposite of square root? Square. Square.
Yeah.
Right? So to get rid of the square root, I want to do opposite operation, so that means I have to square it. When I square both sides, right? So that would get rid of this.
Okay.
Right? So I'm going to end up with x cubed.
X cubed equals-
Sorry guys, I made a mistake in writing this. Oops. So when you do the square, you're going to do the square of the whole thing. Okay? The negative as well. So the square and square root, they're going to cancel each other. So you're going to end up with x cubed equal to, what's 27 squared?
Negative 729.
Check if it's negative again.
Yeah.
So remember that it's going to have to be under the bracket. So 729.
729. Okay.
Okay?
Cube.
Okay. Are we okay with this so far? So far, to get rid of the square root, I did square. Now to get rid of the cube, what do I do? Cube root. So now I have to do cube root. and then that gets rid of the cube. So x equal, what's the cube root of 729?
What's your problem?
Now, you can always check your work by putting 9 in for x and doing 9 to the power of 3 over 2 and see if you're gonna get, probably positive 27, but that's okay because there's something that we're not learning here and we don't need to learn in MAP4C, but there's something that, can I have your attention for those of you who might be going to something other than MAP4C? When I take, if I have x squared equals to 16, right? And I take the square root to get rid of it, okay? So when I do the square root, technically I'm gonna have to get two answers. A calculator will only give you one of the two. But technically my answer is going to be positive or negative 4. So I have two answers for this technically. Because if you think about it, 4 squared is going to give you what? How about negative 4 squared? What is it going to give you? 16. So technically, when I take the square root, there's two answers I'm going to satisfy. And that's only for even exponents, not for odd. For odd, it doesn't work, right? For even exponents, I'm going to have two answers. Okay? So that's why if you enter 9 in here, you're going to get positive 27, just because we did not account for the negative when we're doing the work. Okay? Okay? But this is only required for if you're doing tech math or if you're doing the grade 12 Q math. Okay, how do I do the next one?
Cube root of x
So this is the cube root of x
to the second power.
to the power of 2, okay?
So we cube root both sides.
You cube both sides?
Yes.
Okay, we cube both sides.
To get rid of the cube root.
So I get x squared equal to, what's cube of 64?
262,144.
Oh, 262,000.
Yep, 144.
Okay, I trust you. Which makes sense because we have 64 times 64 times 64. Yeah. Okay, now how do I get rid of the square? Square root, and then my square root
X.
what's the square root of that?
512.
500? Are we okay with this? Now there's a shortcut for this. I'm going to show it to you, but you don't have to use it. So if I have x to the power of 2 over 3 equals 64. To get rid of the power of 2 over 3, I can raise it to the power of 3 over 2. I can raise both sides to the power of 3 over 2, because that's technically I'm doing power of 3, right? I'm doing power of 3 and then a square root, right?
Oh, okay.
Right? So you raise it to the power of 3 over 2, these cancel each other. So you have x equals, and then it's going to be 512 all. This would be one step.
Hell yeah. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I know that these cancel each other?
If you
Because,
divided R simplified.
okay, can I have your attention here? When I have x to the power of 2 over 3 to the power of 3 over 2, I can multiply my exponents, right? This is one of the exponent tools. When you have this, where is it? Where is it? This one. A to the power of n to the power of n, you multiply the power, right?
So when it's outside of when it's bracketed, it only applies to the exponent, the power, when you have a bracket. So that 3 over 2 only applies to the 2 over 3 and not to the
No,
x.
you're multiplying the
Right.
exponents by each other.
Right. So what if you had like say an 8 for replacing the x? The 3 over 2 wouldn't apply to the 8.
No, I'm just simplifying. Okay? I'm simplifying. So if I have x to the power of 2 to the power of 3, I can write this as x to the power of 6 because 2 times 3 is 6. So I don't have to have too much bulkiness.
So what if you had a number replacing x?
So it will be 8 to the power of 2 to the power of 3. So that's going to be 8 to the power of 6.
So it only applies, when you have a bracket, it only applies to powers.
Yes, you're only multiplying the power by the power. Okay? So if I want to multiply 2 over 3 times
Times 2 over 3.
times 3 over 2,
Oh, sorry.
that's right.
Each other out.
2 and 2 cancel, 3 and 3 cancel, so that becomes to the power of 1,
Yeah.
right? So you can always do that, but I mean, if you don't want to go with the shortcut because you're not 100% sure, you can always do the longer way by doing the office multiplication. Okay?
I like that one.
You like shortcuts. All right. Under annual compounding, an initial investment of $700 grows to $900 in 5 years. Determine the annual interest rate, I, using the compound formula A equals P1 plus I to the power of n. So what information is given to me? And they gave me the formula. So let's start with the information that they've given me, which is $700. Out of the A, P, I, and N, P is your initial investment. Okay? So this is P. So this is going to be P, because P means principal, and principal is your initial investment. Okay? What does the $900 mean?
Interest?
900.
So it grows to 900. So it was 700 and it went all the way to 900. So that's how much you have, how much money you have in the bank right now.
Principal.
Right? No, the principal is 700. This is the amount that you have in the account. So this is how much money now you have in the account. So that's your total A value. Okay? So that's A. And then 5 years is N. So this is how long you invested for. Okay? Good. And I'm solving for I. So let's plug in everything in.
I know. Put that in here.
So A is 900 equals 700 1 plus I to the power of 5.
And we're solving for I.
We're solving for I. So this is where I need your help. Tell me, how can I solve for I?
900 minus 700.
Be careful.
Never mind, we do the bracket first. Yeah?
I wanna isolate for I.
Yeah.
So what do I want? I want to get rid of everything with the I. I don't want it. Okay? I want I by itself.
Okay, so 900 divided by 700.
Thank you. Not minus. Because why? Because it's a multiplication,
Yeah.
right? So what I have here is a multiplication. So I need to bring it over and it becomes a division.
Yeah. Equals.
You know how hard it is for me not to say the answer?
I know.
Okay, what's 900 divided by 700? 9 by 7.
One and some.
2829?
2857.
287. So that's 2. as many numbers as we can, 5, 7. Okay. So I got rid of the 700. What's the next thing that I want to get rid of?
The bracket.
What do you mean by the bracket?
Exponent.
The exponent. I want to get rid of the exponent. How can I get rid of that power of 5?
It's
Cube root.
1 to the power of
Fifth
5
root.
and
So
5
mine?
to the
Root both
power of
sides,
five.
not
Yes.
all. Fifth root.
Fifth root. Right? To get rid of a power, I have to fifth root. Okay, can you fifth root 1.2857, whatever?
$1.0515.
545. Okay. What comes after?
Brackets now work in the bracket.
Okay.
So I don't have to include the brackets. So bring the 1 over, you said? Okay. Well, how will I bring it over as what?
Minus.
Minus. I can't. So bring the 1 over as minus. And that's going to be 0.0515 equals to the interest. The interest is usually in percentage, so that's 5.15%, right? So you can multiply that by 100, and that's going to be 5.15%. I'll get back to this.